Hey, everybody. Letting everybody get on board, and we're going to go here right now. Hello, I am meteorologist Hutch Johnson joining you. Coming up in this version of Hutch's Weather, we have severe weather in the northern plains. An active aurora is going to be happening as we head into the evening hours, and it looks like we have some update information on that. But will the clouds cooperate? Your full forecast details are coming up. You're watching Hutch's Weather.
Now, a Hutch's Weather Update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson, brought to you by Robert Gibb and Sons.
All right, let's get right to it. The first thing I want to talk about real quickly with you is to let you know, if you haven't seen Hutch's Weather, go ahead and comment in the section below. Let me know where you're watching from. If you have a question, are you seeing the aurora tonight? Hey, we have some severe thunderstorms rolling through parts of northern Minnesota, through parts of northern North Dakota tonight that have brought up some significant hail size and some flash flooding warnings there. So we'll have details on a little bit of all of this, but we're going to start with a look at that aurora forecast first and foremost, because someone said, are we going to see that? Well, if you are near the international border, the chance of seeing the aurora will be limited by some clouds across the lower 48 as we go through the nighttime tonight. But let's take a look at that right now. But first, let's take a look at what we're seeing with regards to the aurora forecast. Now, this is from a site called Soft Serve News. I like going here because it's kind of a one-stop shop for the aurora, and they keep track of recent numbers. Now, just one number that we look at is called the KP index. Now, when the KP index is 3 or more, the chance of the northern lights in the lower 48 states is increased, but mainly in the northern tier of states. If it gets up to where it is now, look at these digits. 6.7 is the 1 minute forecast, the 13-minute forecast, 6.7. That's storm level KP index. When we get 7s and 8s for KP index, the aurora is more typically visible in southern locations, like this map would say. So when we get a KP level of 7, that's this yellow line you see here. So folks in Iowa, Missouri, maybe even parts of Nebraska and northern Colorado having a chance at seeing this. Are you seeing the northern lights? Let me know right now. Now let's go back and take a look at this northern lights forecast as we check it out. Here is a more colorful view of what we would be seeing now that we are dark on this side of the globe, from Europe all the way across the Atlantic and into the Pacific. The best chance at seeing those northern lights is right here. There's Hudson Bay, and we're talking all of the northern counties, or states, I should say, as we go into the next hour or two. And how long will it last, and what else can we find out? Let's go right back to this site and take a look down a little bit lower. This is the inbound BZ. Now, the BZ is different than the KP. It's another index. Sometimes you can have KP indices that look like we should have a great aurora, but the farther negative these numbers are, the more negative they are, the better chance of having the aurora. So I am pretty certain that somewhere in the lower 48 right now and in parts of Canada, if you're watching Canada, let me know. Share a picture at hutchesweather.com/pics, P-I-C-S. Now, there is definitely that chance of the aurora tonight, and it looks like a pretty good chance, as a matter of fact. This chance is set to decrease as we go in towards daybreak. So right now may just be the best time, but will the clouds cooperate? Let's get to Hutch's forecast. We're going to study the northern plains first. If you're in Fargo, if you're in Minneapolis, St. Paul, if you're in Duluth, if you are in Rochester and parts of Iowa, a decent chance of seeing the northern lights. The forecast shows we have a complex of thunderstorms rolling through northeast North Dakota into the Devil's Lake area right now. They are severe. Where are they going as we head through the overnight hours? They head right up into the Winnipeg area. So if you're in Winnipeg along the international border from International Falls straight through Williston, the oil patch in northeast Montana, a low chance at seeing any northern lights tonight. But if you're in Fargo, Brainerd, Bemidji, all the way down towards Minneapolis, there's a chance. I'm saying there's a chance. In the Central Dakotas, there's a chance. We're going to look at the rest of the nation as well while we get the folks up north with the idea of what we're expecting with regards to these thunderstorms tonight. Once we cross over the 9 a.m. time frame, the storms are gone. It's going to be another hot and muggy day. The cold air kind of stuck up here along the international border. Grand Forks, Fargo, all of us seeing temperatures rising to those muggy, sticky highs once again. Then late tomorrow night, a chance of returning storms as we go into your Tuesday evening from the big sky country of Montana straight out of Wyoming and Colorado. I think there'll be a risk of severe weather in these areas as well. Now, let's back the train up here just a little bit and take a look at our perspective of the northern lights in other areas of the country that that might have a chance at seeing them, I'm going to tilt the Earth just a little bit more straight up and down. If you are in Dallas, the chances of seeing the northern lights are not zero, but not as good down that far south. But that line that showed a KP index close to 7 or 8 could swing as far south as maybe southern Missouri or central Missouri in Columbia. And that is a clear notch in the cloud cover expected as we head through the next few hours. So the best chance at seeing the northern lights, the central Dakotas, the Red River Valley of North Dakota, and then parts of eastern Iowa and Missouri. Also, much of Illinois having a fantastic chance at seeing it, as will be portions of Michigan, particularly if you're in the mitten of Michigan, right over here where the thumb would sit, right about here. That's a great spot to see the northern lights. Now, in the northeast, it looks like Maine may have a chance, but look at this tropical system wreaking havoc with clouds and all kinds of stuff. Maybe northern or upstate New York with a chance. Vermont and Connecticut on into Maine. That'll be your best chance in the northern tier there. The west coast, well, if you have a chance to see it, get away from those city lights in Spokane, Washington, and up in northern Idaho, maybe not too far from Coeur d'Alene. That's a look at what's going on with our weather, and that's your forecast. Thunderstorms tonight could be severe along the international border. There is a severe thunderstorm watch in that area. And then for tomorrow, the Storm Prediction Center has highlighted northeast Montana from Fort Peck Reservoir into the western part of the Dakotas, all the way down into western Nebraska, eastern Wyoming, northeast Colorado, the hail capital of the world. A chance for some strong to severe thunderstorms for the day tomorrow. Now, as we take a look at the latest radar, I'm going to pull that up right now so you can get a feel for what's going on, and then I am going to field a couple of questions and make sure we've got you taken care of. So here's a look at the national radar right now. Thunder and lightning, a few severe thunderstorms rocking through parts of Kansas and Nebraska, severe thunderstorms in northern North Dakota, strong thunderstorms with flooding rains exiting portions of the Lake of the Woods area in northern Minnesota. Charlotte and the Carolinas seeing inundated amounts of showers. Let me check your questions. I'm starting with the Facebook live feed. And for that, we do have some forecast questions there that include still thundering in Bemidji. Thank you, Bonnie, for your update. I do appreciate that. Some areas in northern North Dakota and northwest Minnesota have over 5 inches of reported rainfall for a 24-hour period. That's pretty intense for up here, as far away from an ocean as you can possibly get on this continent of North America is North Dakota and northern Minnesota. And to get rainfall of those magnitudes in less than 24 hours is something. 3 inches reported in the Woodworth area through the weekend. Thank you very much for your report. Hard rain right now being reported, and thunder and lightning. Now let me check my other channel here to see what we got going on. I appreciate all of you watching. If you're watching on the YouTube channel there, thank you very much for hitting the subscribe button and, well, giving me a like if you're enjoying what you see there. So that's a look at our weather forecast specific. Now I'm going to dive right back in to the northern plains here and take a look at a couple of the photos that were shared tonight from the active weather to hutchesweather.com. So we've had some nasty storms deliver some significant hail, but boy, did these puppies look strong to severe as they worked their way through. Just ominous supercell storms in the northern plains tonight, scraping the ground with that there shelf cloud, that Shelfie McShelferson cloud. There's the updraft part of it. You could see the daylight through it. There's some heavy precipitation coming out of that puppy. This is in Valhalla up in northern North Dakota, right at the border. It's hilly country up there. You can see the crop on the ground here laying over. And I can tell you what, there was some wind and there's some very heavy rain from these. Debbie, thank you so very, very much for your sharing of the photos. And here is a look at what it looked like 1 mile north of the Red Lake area. Now check out this cell out here growing and busting out with the lightning. As the top of that thunderstorm cloud reached a more stable layer, it flattens out at the top. What a beautiful shot, Roy and Terry. Thank you for sharing. 1 mile north of Red Lake, Minnesota. That's north of Bemidji, if you're not from the region. And then here is a neat example of what we call a roll cloud. Sometimes thunderstorms, they burp out some wind, and that wind can kind of progress through, and it creates what we call an outflow boundary. And sometimes outflow boundaries are even visible on radar, but the only reason they're visible on radar is because radars detect precipitation-sized droplets and cloud-sized droplets. So clouds like this look like outflow boundaries, and that's exactly what you have here. John capturing a beautiful Grand Forks, North Dakota area roll cloud, roll, R-O-L-L. That roll cloud can roll out away from a thunderstorm, and really it looks like an outflow boundary from the outflow winds from a thunderstorm. Amazing shot there as well. And we had a lot of other ominous shots that you can scroll through on Hutch's Weather at hutchesweather.com. That's a look at your forecast. I am meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Again, I invite you to upload your detailed information and reports to me right here on hutchesweather.com. I'm going to go in right to the Devil's Lake Basin. We're going to update you on flood warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings right now. And here we go. Okay, so as we zoom the radar right back into the northern plains and North Dakota, what you're going to notice here is that we have this little yellow box. That's a severe thunderstorm warning. And look at this storm is steered to the northern part of the county now. You're looking at Benson County, north of Maddock. So if you're in that Leeds and Highway 2 corridor, here's Devil's Lake. This storm has snuck northward a little bit more than eastward. It was an eastward moving storm. It's kind of rotating to the north. Knox and York, you have some heavy thunderstorm activity for you. This thunderstorm warning is in effect until 10:15. 1.5-inch diameter hail clunking off the rooftops out there. So that's some damaging hail from this storm. 60-mile-per-hour gusts heading right toward Leeds. So if you're in these areas, prepare for gusty winds and the potential for isolated areas of the big hail. Now, I do have a hail tracker. I'll turn that puppy on. I like to call these things fancy names like hail tracker. It doesn't really track hail, and there's not really some sort of a thing detecting it, but the radar can pick up and estimate where that hail is, the more bigger sized hail. And right over Highway 2 between Knox and York, we've got the red. What's the red mean? How big is that hail, you say? Well, I tell you, the radar's estimating over 1-inch diameter hail crossing Highway 2 right now. But that's not all, folks. We have more hail and more thunderstorms out to the west, and they're training. These storms are going to travel in the same tracks and train tracks that the last storm did, and so is this puppy right here. So from Balta and points south to near Animus, North Dakota, hail size estimates here are approaching an inch. This is at cloud level. What's reaching the ground may or may not be that, and that's why your reports of severe weather are very handy. And what we need from you is information on the largest hailstones. So if you have large hailstones out there, when it's safe to do it and you don't need a hard hat anymore, grab a hailstone, grab a ruler, and measure that puppy and tell us how big it is. All right, let's see if we got any more insight. What about Rolla, Lisa said. We'll check on that. And I will tell you, we do have some Rolla activity going on, but I'm going to sneak back out here to Balfour because look at this ridiculousness. Do you see that little 2.2 out there? That little purple spot out there by Butte? Yep, that's right. That is another hail core punching up into the big high part of the atmosphere. 2.2-inch diameter hail. That's redonky-donk out there. Now, there's no warning for that area, but these hail-producing storms have prompted the National Weather Service to issue not a warning in the blue box. That's a weather statement. And the statement says we could have some nickel-sized hail. From time to time, these storms are pulsing up, and like I showed you there, the estimate is of over 2-inch diameter hail possible by that cell in the southwestern part of the blue box out there. That's what's going on right now. Look at the ridiculous rainfall amounts here, and to do that, we can take a look at the storm total precipitation estimates for the area up here and show you just how much rain has fallen, and it is just not fun. So take a look at these colors here, and they're loading in right now, but in the green box areas, those are flash flood warnings. There's Marshall County, Minnesota for you in the Newfoundland area. I got a report from Newfoundland, 5.25 in a gauge. Does that pan out to what we're seeing? Oh, my chair just shrunk me. I'm not really that. There we go. I got to sit up straight like my mom tells me. Okay. All right. Now let's move on. As we move in over here, zooming on in, we got Newfoundland. What does this blue color mean? Let me tell you what that blue color means. I'm going to pull out my question mark here. 5 to 5.5 inches of rain between Strandquist and Newfoundland. I got a report in the Newfoundland area of 5.25 inches of rain. It matches almost precisely what the Doppler radar estimates of rainfall are here. So on Hutch's color table, the dark blues and the black holes you see here are 3 to 5 inches of rain. Look at all the rain that fell near Langdon and Walhalla, North Dakota today. These areas also inundated, and we have flash flood warnings in these areas in hilly country in North Dakota. It's usually flat in North Dakota, but not up here and not in other parts of the state out west. But this area, water can move quickly, and it definitely is something you do not want to ever try to to drive through. And we have had appreciable rainfall south of Minot where things have been dry, Belva and on into Drake. And these are the storms that are pushing their way into the Devil's Lake Basin right now. That's the latest in your forecast update. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. I'll continue to track these storms for you as we go into the nighttime hours. If they're severe, I'll let you know about it. You can also get the very latest by visiting hutchesweather.com, right? Let me know on that site your location. If you allow the webpage to track your location, it will tell you if the storms in your area are severe right at the top of your Hutch's weather page. So for now, I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. I'm going to take a little breather and grab myself a beverage to make sure that I stay hydrated, and I will have details as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Once our rain is done by daybreak or just after tomorrow, things should quiet down. Again, meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Until next time, stay tuned to me here on Hutch's Weather, and as always, stay safe.